Hi, my name is Caroline Benton, and today we're going to be doing our video on multiplication with arrays. So, have you ever seen these types of blocks before?
Yes.
Okay, so these are called base 10 blocks, and today we're going to start off by just using a few, and we're going to start off by counting them and talking about odd and even. So, can you tell me how many blocks we have here?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
19, good. So if you remember from earlier today, we talked about odd and even numbers. So do you remember how to decide if this is an odd or an even amount of blocks? How can we figure out if it's an even amount of blocks?
If it has an even number.
Okay, so let's start by dividing these blocks into two groups. Can we divide these blocks into two groups? So I'll put some over here.
Okay.
And I'll put some over there. Okay, so we have two groups of blocks here.
Mm-hmm.
How can we figure out if these groups have the same or if they have different amounts of blocks?
Count them.
Good, so count with me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
10. Good. So now count with me this group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Does this group have the same amount of blocks as this group?
No.
How many blocks does this group have in it?
10.
10. How many groups does this block have? How many blocks does this group have in it?
9.
9. Good. So is this an odd or an even amount of blocks?
Odd.
Odd. How do you know that?
Because the groups are not the same.
Good. The groups are not the same. What can we do to make these groups have the same amount of blocks in them?
Take away 1 from the side.
Good. We can take away 1 block from this side. Thank you. So if we do that, how many blocks do we have in this group now? Count with me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Good. And how many blocks do we have in this group now?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
6, 7, 8, 9. Good. Do these groups have the same amount of blocks in them now?
Yes.
Good. So now I'm going to put these blocks back together, and now I want you to help me count how many blocks we have all together.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
Good. And we said that 18 was an odd number or an even number?
Even.
Even. Good. So now what I want you to do is I want you to help me decide, can we make these blocks into 3 equal groups, okay?
Yes.
So what do you think the first thing is going to be to do to help us decide if we can make it into 3 equal groups?
Separate the blocks.
Good. So let's start separating into 3 groups. Good. Okay, so now count with me how many blocks are in the first group.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Good. Do we have 3 equal groups?
Yes.
How many blocks are in each group?
6.
6. So now we know that if we take 6 and we take another 6, how many blocks do we have all together? Do you remember? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And what does that mean? Can we write an equation that represents these 2 groups of blocks?
Yeah,
6
times 2.
Well, let's start off by talking about addition. So if you remember, 6 plus 6 equals how many groups do we have all together? How many did we just count?
12.
12. So let's put your hands here with me. 6 plus 6 equals 12. Good. 12 total blocks. Now, let's see how many we would have if we had another group. Count with me. So we know we had 12 here, and let's add 6 more. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So now we can try to write an equation with addition for all 3 groups. So we have 6 plus 6 plus 6 equals 18. Good. We have 18 blocks. How many groups do we have to make up those 18 blocks?
3 groups.
3 groups. And how many blocks do we have in each group?
6.
6. Good. So now, if we think about that in multiplication terms, we have 3 groups, starting off with 3, times how many blocks do we have in each group?
6.
6. So 3, 6 times, which is 3 groups of 6, is how many total blocks?
18.
18. Good. Nice job. So now we're going to look at this with our array map, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to start off by telling you that we're going to first make 4 groups of 2, okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to start off by putting 4 groups, so 4 blocks along the side here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. How many groups is this going to represent?
4.
4. Good. And I said 2. So how many blocks do we want to put up here?
2.
2. So this represents 4 groups. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4 of 2. 1, 2. Good. So when we have 4 groups of 2, we want to display it in this middle part. So I'm going to put the blocks down and you're going to count with me. So the first group is going to have 2 in it. Ready? 1, 2. That's the first group of 2. Now count with me the second group. 1, 2. So now we have how many groups of 2?
2 groups of 2.
2 groups of 2, but we need to make 4 groups of 2. So I'm going to add another group. 1, 2. How many groups of 2 is this?
3 groups.
3 groups of 2. And now I'm going to add one more group of 2. 1, 2. So how many total groups of 2 do we have now?
4.
4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now count with me so that we can see how many total blocks represent our 4 groups of 2. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. So how many blocks do we have in 4 groups of 2?
8.
8. Good. Okay, we're going to try another one, but this time I want you to set it up on your own. So this time I want you to show me 3 groups of 3. Okay? So remember, along the side, you're going to set up your groups. 1, 2, 3. Groups of 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. So there's 1 group of 3. 2 groups of 3. And 3 groups of 3. Good. So now count out loud how many total blocks you have in your 3 groups of 3.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
9. So how many blocks are in 3 groups of 3?
9.
9. So now let's think about this in multiplication terms. 3 groups of 3 is the same as saying 3 times 3. So 3 times 3 was how many total blocks?
9.
9. Nice job. Okay, now we're going to move on to this worksheet. So the instructions say, use your base 10 blocks to help you find the answer. Then write a multiplication equation that represents each problem. So our first problem says 2 groups of 3 is how many? So let's set up our problem on our array map. So how many groups?
2 groups.
2 groups of how many?
3.
3. Good. So now we'll set up our groups. Good. And how many groups? Count out loud how many you have total.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Good. So 2 groups of 3 is how many?
6.
6, which is the same thing as saying 2 times 3 equals 6. Good. Now try the next one on your own. What does the problem say?
4 groups of 4 is how many?
Good. 4 groups of 4 blocks
Can I have some more blocks, please?
Good, so now count out loud how many total blocks you have.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Good, so 4 groups of 4 is how many?
16.
16, and that can be represented by saying
4 times 4 equals 16.
Great job. Now you know how to